All right, welcome students. Thanks for watching this video. We're going to talk about finding the coordinates of any angle on the unit circle. And so this comes up in the homework. It's going to come up a lot. Part of what it is, you could memorize the entire unit circle, but this is going to be a method that hopefully is much, much easier for you. Okay, so let's start with something. Start with a couple basic facts. I'm going to suggest you don't really need the whole unit circle. What you really want to know are the first quadrant. Okay, so the pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3. So let's put this up here. This is going to be your reference. We're going to need these a lot. So it's helpful to have them at the top of the paper. Oops, pi over 3 equals 60. Yeah, that's a 3 there. Okay, so those 3 ones can get you out of a lot of situations. Okay, so let's just choose some totally random one. Let's say find the location or find the coordinates for 11 pi over 6. Okay, so if you have the unit circle, sure, you can have that next to you and you can look it up. Okay, we'll check it afterwards, but well, before we do that, let's see how this new method works. Okay, so here's the plan. To find 11 pi over 6, you got to do two things. First question you want to ask is, what quadrant? Okay, so where is that? What quadrant is 11 pi over 6 in? And the second question you're going to want to ask is for the reference angle. And I'll just put angle symbol there. Okay, so this is what you should be thinking in your head as you do these problems. Okay, it's going to make your life a lot easier if you just follow this method. Okay, unless, like I said, if you have a photographic memory, then yeah, you can memorize the unit circle. But most of us don't. So 11 pi over 6, you got to figure out what quadrant it's in. Okay, so two ways to do this. One is 11 pi over 6 is a multiple of 30 because it's something over 6. So it's like 11 30s, going 30 11 times. Okay, so it's like 11 times pi over 6. Or 11 times 30, which is 330. Okay, so that'll help us find out what quadrant it is in. The other way you could do this is, it's a little less than 2 pi. How do I know that? Well, because 12 over 6 would be 2 pi. So this is a little less. So in other words, it'd be almost all the way back. Almost 2 pi, but not quite. So that's how we know it is. So one of these two methods, either convert to degrees, or just think, okay, it's a little less than 2 pi, so it's not quite a full rotation. So that answers our question. We know it's in quadrant 4. Okay, quadrant 4. And the reference angle, because we're rotating 330 degrees, the angle that's left there would be 30 degrees. Let's pull that out a little bit. Make this bigger. You're going all the way around 330, so what's left over is a 30-degree angle. Okay, so as far as what's the coordinates here, well, all of the coordinates we said from the other notes from yesterday, all coordinates can be written as a set of all x and y coordinates can be written as cosine and sine. Okay, so with quadrant 4 with a 30-degree reference angle, we know we got a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So let's go ahead and draw that. Okay, and again, 30, 60, 90, it's a 1, 2, rad 3. 1 is the shortest side. 2 is the longest side. So rad 3 is that in-between side. So for this point, it's going to be the cosine of 30 and the sine of 30. Okay, so our coordinate is going to be like this. Cosine of 30 would be adjacent over hypotenuse, and sine of 30 would be opposite over hypotenuse. So there's your coordinates. Okay, the final thing we have to remember here is, in this quadrant, your coordinates are both positive and negative. So the x is positive, the y is negative. Okay, and you can use this trick for every single different angle, anything you want to find, we can find it. Okay, so that's how we're going to do it. So let's go and do one last example. Hopefully this makes sense. And if it doesn't, hopefully maybe it'll make even more sense after this next example. So start fresh. We'll start totally blank. We're not even going to look at the unit circle yet. We'll check those answers in a moment. But let's say you want the coordinates of, let's see, let's make up a number. Let's go bigger. Let's go 13 pi over 6. Okay, 13 pi over 6. So 13/6, that's a lot. Okay, the way I think of this is it's more than 2 pi. Okay, because 12 over 6 would be 2 pi. This is more than 2 pi. In fact, it's pi over 6 more than 2 pi. So it's like 2 pi plus pi over 6. So you're going to go around 2 pi and then an extra pi over 6. That will give you 13 pi over 6. Okay. Doesn't matter at all that we went all the way around. Doesn't matter. All we care about is we ended up with a 30-degree reference angle. Okay. So the coordinates of this would be the cosine and the sine. So go back to your 30, 60, 90 triangle. 1, 2, rad 3. Coordinates here are going to be cosine and sine. So cosine of 30, rad 3 over 2. Sine of 30, 1/2. That's it. Adjacent over hypotenuse, opposite over hypotenuse. And you can do that for every single point on the unit circle. Okay? So if you go back and check the unit circle at pi over 6, you'll find exactly these coordinates. So any point you want, you could do this. Find out how far you rotate and see what your triangle looks like in that position. Okay? The only final thing I need to tell you about to keep in mind is the signs of them. It goes like this. Everything's positive in the first quadrant. X coordinate's positive, X coordinate's negative, Y coordinate's positive when you're in the second quadrant. Down here is negative, negative, both are negative, and over here is positive, negative. Okay. So what that means is if you end up in quadrant 4, you do the same method we did here, just the signs would be positive, negative instead of positive, positive. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Try the homework out and bring lots of questions tomorrow, and we'll try and clarify this even more. Okay. And again, for any one of these things, once you find out where you're located, if you check the unit circle, that can verify it. Okay. But most of us don't have photographic memory, so if you don't want to memorize the whole unit circle, know this triangle and rotate to get to your location, and you can solve everything. All right. Thanks for watching.